CEO and Chief Heart Officer, of course, of BeStrong International, where we are all about helping youth and families understand the power of meaningful connections in all of their relationships. And so I'm so thankful that you're here. I've been laughing, I'm almost about to cry before the show because I have an amazing guest for you today. And I want you to really reach out to someone. If you know someone that's in the nonprofit field and they're currently in the space of struggling with fundraising or making those right connections so that they can draw donors to their valuable work. If you know leaders that need to hear this message today about how they could get fundraising tips, please share this with donors, even philanthropists. I think this is going to be an exciting conversation this morning. I have with me Jessica Rodriguez. She is the co-founder of Cloud9. And so I'm so excited that you're here. Oh my goodness.
It's going to be fun.
This is going to be a nice ride. This is going to be a fun ride.
You have to have, I mean, it's cheesy, it's corny. They say fundraising starts with fun, but I mean, in anything in the nonprofit sector, you have to bring joy to what you're doing and raising funds and fueling the great work you're doing. That's just as important.
Yeah. And in us working together, which is one of the reasons why I even wanted to highlight you today, because she's come in and you've been like a game changer in our organization. And it's hard to find people who naturally just gravitate towards jumping right into the fire with us. I mean, you got on a call with us with a donor and was like, look, let's get to the real deal here. And I'm like, oh my God, Jessica.
I'm a quick starter. But Colby Index, quick starter.
Right. Sure. Yeah, I think I am too. And I think that made me really think deeply about our relationship together and like the ways in which you really just got us started right away in some of the things that we needed to change. So with that said, we are coming up to Give Miami Day. Anything around fundraising right now, I think is really critical in our current climate with what's going on. And I know that there's a lot of pain points. I've felt it myself.
Yes, you have.
In fundraising, and it's hard. And so I don't know if you want to speak to kind of like what the trends are right now, what's happening right now in fundraising so people can hear.
Absolutely. You know, first of all, thank you for giving Cloud9 the opportunity to support BeStrong. And I think one of the RYs as a company is for you and any of our partners to feel that connection and that passion right away. Yeah. Because whether it's helping you raise more money, work on a strategic plan, strengthen your team, it's all about the passion that you feel and the connection to the mission. And I certainly have such a passion for the mission of BeStrong. But in terms of the pain points and the challenges of fundraising, every single organization feels it at some level. And probably one of the first things, and I was a fundraiser for many years before I started Cloud9. One of the worst things we do is compare ourselves to others.
Oh my gosh. Because when you just said, I'm not going to lie, when you just said like every nonprofit goes through that, I'm like, no way. Because there's big shots in Miami with huge organizations with lots of money.
But
that I'm
they're
just like,
feeling it too for different reasons. But, you know, comparison is the thief of joy, right? That's what we say. Powerful. That's what we teach our kids. Yeah. You know, be authentically who you are. Yeah. So what's hard is just like everything in life right now, between social media, what we're hearing, the buzz around you of what you think is happening in other organizations, it can be paralyzing. So I think I'd start with that let's remove any head trash going on around us that every other organization is more successful than I can be on Give Miami Day, or, you know, we're just not getting those big grants that we're seeing other organizations get. I would say start right there with, to the best of your ability, get rid of that mindset. Clear your mind. Good. Do some yoga. Namaste it. And then really look at where your organization is today. Where do you want to go? Which is something that I think we started with working together at BeStrong, was stopping for a moment and saying, like, let's close our eyes. Let's look at where we want to go. More money, more mission. Yes, it takes dollars to get there. But what is uniquely your organization, and what fundraising strategies do you want to tap into that will help you get there? Right. In Miami in particular, we are very fortunate right now that we are coming up on Give Miami Day. What an incredible gift that the Miami Foundation,
oh yes,
and their donors have given to the nonprofits in this community, the tools, the resources, the matching dollars components, the prizes, and more than anything, the awareness. The awareness and the energy around give, no matter what you have, give of, and biblically, we're called to give, be his hands and feet, and also give. So I think that there are certainly resources, Giving Tuesday, Give Miami Day, just annual campaigns in general that are out there, and you can really pull upon the science of what that could do to help you with your fundraising. But you have to start with your why and really creating an authentic message for your donors. What we saw in this most recent Giving USA report, which it was the Giving USA 2025 report, but it's lagging data points because they're looking at what happened in 2024. But probably one of the most important things that came out of it is that individuals are giving more money. Like there was an increase in individuals. So where I think coming out of the COVID years, the nonprofit sector was, during those 2 years, we saw changes in foundation giving, that there were less restrictions, that foundations were giving more money. We were really leaning into our corporate donors then, but maybe had forgotten a little bit of the strategies to lean into and grow our individual donor base. So I think that was an interesting fact that came out of what we saw in 2024. And as we do come up on year end, really thinking through how are we going to touch more individuals, utilizing Give Miami Day or Giving Tuesday or other those opportunities too.
No, that's good stuff. I love how you said about getting rid of like the head trash and like all these things that are happening outside of us that make us feel inferior to the fact that we may not be successful in fundraising. And it's so far from the truth, because especially when you have a very powerful mission, I think one of the things we learned is like, how do we even craft our message better in a way that people can understand and see our work, right?
Yes.
And so I think nonprofit leaders too struggle with like, how do I craft this messaging well? Because they may not have even a marketing person. They may not have a social media. And I'm talking more to kind of like the underdogs right now, because I feel like that's where I've been for a while, in just the work of the nitty gritty of like building the business from scratch again and really getting our name out there. That was a struggle for us, in just shifting to where we just had to tell the team, like, listen, wherever you are, take pictures, send it to us. Let's post it. It's sometimes it doesn't have to be this grandiose thing of a deal. So I don't know if you want to speak to that as well.
Well, I mean, certainly I think fundraising, you could, with the marketing piece of it, your messaging and where the community sees you is so important. Your brand is very important in terms of how you market and sell and promote your work and ultimately raise more money. But you're exactly right. Like, especially with AI today, we have resources that if we're struggling, if we're feeling like, I just don't think the community's getting it, our mission isn't there, open up ChatGPT.
Right.
Just dump your thoughts. Have like a one-on-one, a very personal conversation with them to say, here's how we're talking about who we are. But I don't think that we're really relating to people the message and the mission of what we do. Just see what comes out of that. There are free AI tools that you could use for your messaging. But starting with overall, like you said, taking photos, asking those that you are serving to give their testimony. If I can tell you, if I can storytell here. So I'm very proud to have recently joined the board of directors for the Early Learning Coalition of Broward County.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
And I thank you. And I believe so strongly in early learning. And we know that that's just transformational to kids, and setting them up for success. At our most recent board meeting, when they were giving the mission moment, they had a woman in the lobby. It was a grandmother that was seeking services for her grandchild. And she was so impressed with the customer service that she received in that moment that she asked, can I speak to the CEO? I just want to speak to someone and tell you how happy I am. Wow. In that moment, they thought, let's film her. And they got out the camera and filmed this woman saying and praising the ELC for the experience that they had. And it was just on an iPhone. It was nothing that they had to overthink. It was just this woman genuinely pouring her heart out. And then they were able to show it to their board. Now they can repurpose it and use it as, a way to just share their message. So I loved that. I thought, wow, there's probably a lot of those moments where we could just be asking in that moment someone that we're serving to say what it meant to them and have content to use.
Yeah. And that's what I think I'm saying. It's that sometimes we overthink all of these things that we need. Of course, the brand is important. The messaging is important. But a lot of these nonprofits, they're doing direct services on the ground with families every day, right? And so just having your staff take pictures with these families, creating those short stories, putting them up on social media, I think sometimes will help them start some of the traction that they need for people to follow them and say, you know what, wow, that's something interesting. I'd love to learn more. Let me see, more about, what it is that they're actually doing.
Well, when I think about BeStrong, the letters that you get from the kids who have been part of the club, that moved me. I mean, reading those was... I think I said to you, just send these to anyone interested in supporting BeStrong. Make sure you attach these because that's, that connects them to your why. And it was beautiful. So, and I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better testimony than that young gentleman that I read his letter.
Yeah. And even last year, right? Our singer. Oh my God. He tore the house down. Like our galas are like, crazy with these kids.
That's a good example. Another thing to think about always with fundraising is with events, because we are coming up on event season. We are coming in hot. I know your calendar is like mine. I'm like, okay, I need to go to this, but I need to be with my family too on the weekends. How to ensure that your mission comes through in your special event. Here locally, you all did it so beautifully at Hearts and Rhythm last year. I loved it. I think YWCA does with their First But Not the Last.
Yes.
I mean, that is just mission.
Yes. All over it.
All over in every single aspect of that event.
Yeah.
So in every event you're doing, whether it's programmatically, like community facing with the food drive, you all did. I told you that as a donor. I felt so appreciated, and that little bit of money that I gave you for the food drive, you all made
the backpack. The backpack, yes,
the
back to school,
drive.
Yes.
But it made you feel connected, to that actual item that you donated to.
Yes.
So that speaks to what you're saying about getting content, but then also making sure that the donor receives it, because sometimes just going on social media, they may not see it, but
That's
you all
true.
went above and beyond to ensure that anyone who had given to that particular campaign via email, you sent it out, that video too. And I thought that was like a great extra touch.
That's true. And I think even your feedback on that helps us propel and think deeper about how we connect, right? Because, and this is the part I want to segue into too, where it's like, it's really all about relationships, right? And it's how we connect with that donor from the first time that they come into the organization. And sometimes they don't always come in as a donor. Right. They're coming in just saying like, okay, well, what is this about? Right? How can I help? And I'm always careful. And I don't know, you may ding me on this, but I'm always careful not to actually just say, well, we need a financial gift. I'm always careful because I don't know where people are. And sometimes you don't know. I think we also have our biases and we judge based off of what we see.
Right.
And, it can either make or break sometimes those decisions at that moment. But I try to be careful to say, well, here's a plethora of where you could join and let them talk to me about where they best feel they fit first.
Well, you are exceptional because you do run an organization based on strengthening relationships. So in watching you, I would give you 5 stars to how you connect and share really authentically the work of BeStrong. However, I do think that we are reluctant at times to just make the ask. And worst thing that can happen is they say no. But in those moments, what I would recommend is that you sandwich that ask with a variety of ways that they can connect. So if you're hesitant to make the ask to become a monthly donor or join a giving society or support a specific program, then you just kind of sandwich that with like, here are all the ways that you can engage with us. Typically, the first time that you meet with a prospective donor or just a prospective volunteer, that's not going to be what naturally ends the conversation. Well, here's what I need from you. Because we want to hear, what can I do for you? That's a powerful question to turn around in that moment of, is there anything that our organization can do for you? And most of the time they turn that back around. Well, what can I do for you? And that can open up the door to a conversation like that. But I think where we fall short is we have a lot of these first time meetings. But then what? It's that follow through to really engage them and then bring them to that point where there's not even an ask. It's, I'm bringing the check to you today. What I think, and you speak more to this, the challenge there is we have limited time. So where we can prioritize all these relationships and ensuring that you're texting them on their birthdays or wishing them a happy Mother's Day and making sure that they felt seen and heard in that moment of interest with your organization, that is where it's hard. It's not perfect. But utilizing software like CRMs and what you all are doing right now and investing in that time to get a platform where important information about those conversations can be kept is critical, because then that allows other people within the organization to help you follow that relationship along for when it's time to make the ask.
Yeah. And that's exactly my approach. I kind of give them, like I said, the plethora of information and then let them decide and then hold their hand a little bit through there. So I want to get into some nitty gritty stuff here where I don't know about you, but I would love for you to share like some really crazy or funny stories that have happened to you as far as fundraising. Like, I know, have you ever, been contracted, I guess, with an organization and come to find out, the CEO is...
It's like the soap
probably probably not the best person to ask, or maybe they're scared to death of fundraising or just something interesting. I know when I first came in, fundraising was not even on the founder's radar. It was all heavily grants driven. And so for the first time when we decided we wanted to do something, we didn't even think in that world, and this is 20 years ago, about getting a consultant or anything like that. We just did a very traditional, like, kind of like out of the church where like you pay this much and then this much goes to, the proceeds go to that.
Given you were asking for offering.
Yeah. We're like basically making no money and asking for offering. But over the years, I started to really, and with a business background from UM and just really learning and just digging into things and doing my own research while the founder was still alive, I was just like, hey, I don't know if this business model works for us. Like, I don't understand the nonprofit business model, right? It just didn't make sense to me when I started to peel back and look at everything. So I say all that to say that, now we're moving into spaces of revenue generating things and, social enterprises and all these things that people want to do. But what's been some really interesting things that you've seen in this line of work that you're just like, this thing blew me away, or like, this was wild,
I mean, I was a fundraiser for many years before I started Cloud9, so I probably have better stories, even from that is safer to share because they actually did happen to me. I do think that like one of my passion for when a nonprofit comes to Cloud9 and wants support in fundraising, the passion for me starts with just building that confidence in them that they are worthy, that there are so many opportunities to grow resources for the great work that they're doing, social enterprise being one of them. You know, when I first met you, my mind, my wheels constantly turned of taking over the world with Social Yaks. And quick commercial. Cloud9 uses Social Yaks on our team every Monday before our production meeting, and we love it. And it is definitely strengthening our company. So buy your Social Yak cards at www.BeStrong.com. I don't know if that's right, but go buy them. But okay, so some great. So I do think it starts with believing in yourself and a desire to want to build a culture of philanthropy throughout the entire organization. Yeah. That starts with the person who greets visitors to your organization, all the way up to the CEO and to the board of directors, and everybody understanding their role and their why in fundraising for the organization. Good stories, though, of where I think could be useful for anyone watching today, being prepared. You must be prepared for conversations around fundraising with donors. And by being prepared, it's knowing where the gaps are. Yep. Expecting, because it happened to me, and I shared this with you. I was the fundraiser sitting next to the CEO when a major donor looked at both of us and said, "What would you do with $1 million for this organization, and what would you do with $1 million for this organization?" And because we had a strategic plan that had a wildly important goal, we both were aligned and knew where we would put that $1 million. So good. That being prepared and being on the same page with whoever your co-pilot is. If you're the CEO, who's your co-pilot in fundraising? Making sure that you all have the same message. We've talked about that with when you bring in board members. Yeah. So prepare for meetings, and then also the thank you is so important, and making sure that the way that you thank that donor is how they want to be thanked. That's going into love languages. And if we want another, we can just be talking. Part two.
Relationship building, part 2.
Do you know their love language?
Right.
Because it's great that we have these stewardship plans that have really like plug and play opportunities for us to thank. We need that in order to be efficient. But when you really know your donor and you connect with them, making sure that the way that you're thanking and recognizing them speaks to them.
That is so funny, because I had one conversation with a funder and I asked, and this was not around a time that we needed anything. I just wanted to meet with them and just get an understanding of, like, you know, just deeply knowing more of who they were and what they wanted to see from us. And the person said to me, like, you know, I'm not interested in being honored at a gala. I'm not interested in, you know, any of those major grandiose things. I just want you to be able to do the work. I want you to be transparent about what's not working. And I was like, I wonder if people do this, because this person is saying, do not honor me at a gala. I don't want that, right? And we think like, oh, this is going to bring us to the top. This is going to make this funder really know that we thank them so much. And it was so amazing. And so yesterday I had a conversation with another funder, and I said, you know what? Can you ask, I don't know who the CEO is, but I know that that person was part of our gift. And I said, could you just do some digging to see what this person likes, so that when I show up, I can show up with something that they would enjoy. And she's like, I got your back. I'm like, yes. Right? But I'm just getting there, right? I've been doing this for so long, and I'm just getting there in that space to really recognize, like, I need to tap into what they want.
What they want. I know it's hard. We're wired to be about, well, that is
us.
That, I mean, isn't that why he wrote the book, 5 Languages of Love? Because he said, hey, divorces are happening.
Yeah, this is all about
because it's all about you, and you're speaking your own love language. If you want to work on a relationship, you speak theirs. So making it about, you know, the donor and connecting with them. This is large donors, but all the way down to that donor that gave you $25 for a backpack. Those are the donors who are, you know, they're building the bricks that you need to have a sustainable, you know, operating dollars come in. And for them to feel appreciated is just as important.
Yeah. No, this is good. All right, but you skipped the juicy stories because I'm trying to figure out
okay. Well, oh my gosh. One though, okay. No, I mean that I think was a good one. Well, I did have I don't think I can share this one.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to
don't do it then.
It's something I did embarrassing on stage one time with a clapper. Okay, like yelling out, like, "Who has the clap? Who has the clap?" over and over again to try to get people to give. And the guy standing next to my husband goes, "Do you think she knows what she's saying up there?"
What did your husband say when he got home?
He's used to everything coming out of my mouth. Like, he's like not surprised by anything.
So
but
are you guys like the yin and the yang? It's like,
very, our relationship, so everyone is like, wow. I mean, how does this work? And so I would say, and I have performed karaoke in front of donors before. That was when we did an event at the Mary Porter Ballroom. I started and led karaoke. So all my embarrassing stories come back as a fundraiser, come back to things that I did.
That you decided to do on your own.
Right. However, I do think that it made people connect with me and know that they could be their authentic selves with me being my authentic self. So I'm going to say that it was helpful in that regard. The other, this is kind of like not funny, but not positive thing either, is I have seen before where we're working too fast and we send communication and it's like one that we've kind of set a script for and we forget to change out the name.
Oh,
and then you're like, not good. You cannot, people are you give grace in life so people understand, but I see that happen and I think just, don't work too fast, slow down, be thoughtful in your emails. And then the other thing that I see, and sometimes I'm like, is starting emails with new prospects because you don't know them. You open with, "I hope this email finds you well." If anybody leaves here today with one thing, just take it out. I refuse to let anyone on our team start any email with, "I hope this email finds you well." I don't think emails find me well usually. But also, going back to relationships, find something that you could start the email with as an intro. I get that it could be like a cold intro, like it's not someone that you know, but just do a little bit of research or find some kind of hook to open the email that doesn't begin with that. That can feel very like ChatGPT too, but even before ChatGPT,
but that was a thing.
Well, that was a thing.
Yeah, and I've used it. Yeah,
but you won't anymore.
That's why I'm laughing.
You won't ever use it again. And you'll never get up on stage and yell, "Who has the clap?"
No, that part I won't do. That's not in me to do that, but that is hilarious. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. No, this was fun. We didn't even get to play social yes. Oh my God. At least pick one card.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, let's break the ice.
Okay.
Let's see.
Kids today will never understand the struggle of.
What do you think?
So good. Oh, I already have. There's so many. First of all, having to wait till Friday night to watch your favorite TV shows. Full House, Perfect Strangers.
TGIF, right?
TGIF.
Oh my gosh.
No, they can just get on YouTube and watch shows.
At any time.
Yeah. Saved by the Bell on Saturdays. They don't know the struggle of actually having to wait.
Recess,
it's instant gratification.
That was one of my favorite. Recess. Yeah. It's way back. But yeah.
So I thought about
Pepper Ann. Let me stop.
Okay, then what? Let's do one more. Can we do one more? Okay. I want to know this one from you. What would you say to your younger self?
Oh my gosh, she flipped it on me. This is a first. What would I say to my younger self? You're beautiful. Don't be so afraid of your future. I was very afraid and very timid, and I think it was because of what was happening at within my family at the time, the domestic violence and whatnot. And my hair is really thick now, but when it was in a different state and still not really combed, it was just a lot. And I didn't feel attractive in my natural state. And it's so funny. I was just meeting with someone and still struggling with my natural hair. Can you imagine? No. So I think I would tell my younger self, like, regardless of your hair and your big fish eyes and all these things that I was made fun of as a kid, you're beautiful.
You're stunning.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, thank you. But
that's it.
It's things, right?
We need to say those things to ourselves today too, to our younger selves, and then to ourselves today too.
So this one, I want to read it. We're gonna skip to go to the last level. This is the level that it flips. So you read it, and I'm gonna answer about you.
Okay. If I were to
what is it?
If I were to receive an award for something,
I was gonna say the clapper, but I'm not gonna go there.
What would it be for?
Wow. I think when I first met you, there was just such a true spirit of joy and authenticity that I don't see oftentimes in people. I think in Miami, we're busy, we're fast, we're moving. We've got meetings, especially if you're a leader and you're trying to build your business. The award for you is just joy and authenticity. I love that. I know when I meet you, when I get on the phone with you, when I text you, it pours through. It is so contagious. That's what I think your award is, and it is beautiful. And your company name, even Cloud9, it just matches who you are and where you take people. You took away a lot of stress from us and even the board. Out of the candidates that we had for a fundraising consultant, you rose to the top. It's who you are. So thank you.
That's like the best award I could
It's
get.
the best award ever. Yeah,
Other than being the best at karaoke. But you didn't give me a chance to do that today. Or else that would have been the award.
Yes,
I'm 1,000%
Next time. She's going to sing for us, you guys. Well, anything you want to end with, I'll give you this time on the camera to just share. If you want to speak to leaders or anyone in the nonprofit space or about your work, please feel free.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to start. Everybody, go get your social yaks. You need it in your home, in your office. They are amazing. And I'm so grateful that we have a resource like BeStrong here in our community, but that can be reached everywhere because it starts with building strong relationships. And today, if you want to grow and raise more dollars for your organization, just leave with that mindset that it's all about your relationships internally on your team, like who's the pilot and co-pilot with fundraising, what does that relationship look like? And then externally, just knowing your donors, understanding their why, and connecting with them. And of course, if Cloud9 can be a resource for you, reach out to us online, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're there on our website and would love to connect with you and hopefully share some joy. And I love that, Michelle, because you bring me so much joy. And she has been such a gift from God this year. And I'm very grateful to have her in my life and to have had this platform today to have fun and just hopefully alleviate some of the stress about year-end giving and fundraising overall.
Yeah, no, this is great. I want to thank all the viewers for listening in on our beautiful show today. I want to leave you with something powerful that Jessica said, and I want to share that, especially with leaders who are in this space. You're doing incredible work. If no one sees you or you think no one sees you, people see you. And we want you to know that you are cared for, you are loved. There are so many amazing people like Jessica that's doing incredible work that will come alongside you and support you in this work. And I want to remind you what she said today: comparison is the thief of joy. So get out of your headspace, all of the head trash around the fact that you're not enough, you're not doing enough, and you don't have the funds. You are going to be provided for. Just keep doing the work, and you're going to see that things are going to work out in your favor. Hope to see you next